സ്പെഷ്യൽ വീഡിയോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മളിവിടെ നോർത്താംപ്ടണിൽ സിൽവർ സ്റ്റോണിൽ ഈ ഫോർമുല 1 ഡ്രൈവിംഗ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിന് വേണ്ടി വന്നതാണ്. അതായത് ഇവിടെ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ബുക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യാം. ഫോർമുല 1 റേസും അതിൻ്റെ പ്രാക്ടീസും ഒക്കെ നടക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ വന്ന് ആൾക്കാർക്ക് സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് ട്രൈ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. സർക്യൂട്ടിൽ കൂടെ പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് സ്പോർട്സ് ഈ നമ്മുടെ ഫോർമുല 1 ഡ്രൈവ് നടക്കുന്ന സർക്യൂട്ടിൽ കൂടെ കറക്റ്റായിട്ടെന്നല്ല ശരിക്കും ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. ആ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിന് വേണ്ടി വന്നതാണ്. ഇത് വലിയൊരു ഏരിയ ആണ്. ഞാനവിടെ ഇവിടെ ബുക്കിംഗ് കൺഫർമേഷൻ കാണിച്ചാലേ കയറ്റി വിടുള്ളൂ. ഇവിടെയാണ് നോർമൽ ഗാലറി ഈ സൈഡിൽ കാണുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ വന്നിരുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ ഇത് കാണും. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ അങ്ങോട്ട് പോവാണ്. ഞാൻ അവിടെ നിന്ന് കയറി വന്നു. എന്നിട്ട് ഇതൊരു വലിയൊരു ഏരിയ ആണ്. ഹെക്ടർ കണക്കിന് സ്ഥലം ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി മാറ്റി വെച്ചേക്കുവാണ്. ഇതിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഇവിടെ വേറെ ഇവൻറ്റുകളൊക്കെ നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞാനപ്പോൾ സൗത്ത് എൻട്രൻസിലാണ് വന്നത്. സൗത്ത് എൻട്രൻസിൽ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഡ്രൈവിംഗ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിലോട്ട് ആണ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എന്താ പറയുക, പാർക്കിംഗ് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണം. ഇവിടെ പാർക്കിങ്ങിൻ്റെ അഡ്രസ്സ് തന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ആ അഡ്രസ്സിലോട്ടല്ല ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ എത്തിച്ച് വേറെ ഒരു അഡ്രസ്സിലാണ്. മീൻസ് അഡ്രസ്സ് സെയിം ആണ്, ലൊക്കേഷൻ വേറെ ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പം പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ ആൾക്കാർ ഗൈഡ് ചെയ്യാനെല്ലാം ഉണ്ട്. ഓരോ സ്ഥലത്തോടെ നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അവരോട് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ആ സ്ഥലം നോക്കി നമുക്ക് വരാവേ. ഞാനിങ്ങനെ നോക്കി കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. അപ്പോൾ സൗത്ത് എൻട്രൻസ് ആണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി. അവിടെ എന്നിട്ട് ഇനി പാർക്കിങ്ങിലോട്ട് പോവാണ് ഞാൻ. ഇവിടെ പോഷെ എന്നൊക്കെ എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് വേണ്ട മത്സരം നടക്കുമ്പോൾ ഓരോരുത്തരുടെ പാർക്കിങ്ങും അതിൻ്റെ സ്പേസുകളൊക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും ഓരോ കമ്പനികളുടെ. സർക്യൂട്ടിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗമാണ് നമ്മുടെ ലെഫ്റ്റ് സൈഡ്. കണ്ടോ, ഇവിടെ എഴുതി വെച്ചാണ് കണ്ടോ, ഡ്രൈവ് സിൽവർ സ്റ്റോൺ, യു ആർ ഓൺ ദ റൈറ്റ് ട്രാക്ക്. ട്രാക്ക് എവിടെയാണ്? ഇവിടെ വരുമ്പോൾ മിക്കവാറും കാണുമായിരിക്കും. ഇതിലിപ്പോൾ ആരെങ്കിലും വരുമായിരിക്കും. ഇതാണ് ട്രാക്ക്. ഇത് പോകണമല്ലോ, അതിലൊരെണ്ണം പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. ന്യായം പോലെയാണ് കാണാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. പെട്ടെന്ന് പരിപാടി തീരും നോക്കിയിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ. നമ്മൾ ടി വി കാണുമ്പോൾ തന്നെയാണ് നേരിട്ട് കാണുമ്പോഴും. ഇതുണ്ട്, ആൾക്കാർ വേറെ പല പല സാധനങ്ങളും എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ അതില്ലേ. ഞാൻ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ വലിയൊരു കോംപ്ലക്സ് ആണ്. കോംപ്ലക്സ് എന്നല്ല, വലിയൊരു ഏരിയയാണ്. എന്താണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ലാത്ത പോലെയാണ്. അവിടെ പോഷയുടെ കാറുകൾ തന്നെ കിടക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഏരിയ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഞാനിത് ഫോർമുല 1 ഒന്നും കണ്ടിട്ടില്ല കേട്ടോ. പക്ഷേ ലിയോസ് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് പല പ്രാവശ്യം. ലിയോസ് പിന്നെ ഭയങ്കര ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാനും എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആണ് ഉള്ള ടിക്കറ്റ്. വേണ്ട, ടിക്കറ്റ് ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. സൂപ്പർ കാർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 400 പൗണ്ട് വരും. ഇവിടെ പല പല പരിപാടിയുണ്ട്. ഇവിടെ 2-3 മാസത്തേനെ ഓപ്പൺ ഉള്ളൂ. അത് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ ഫോർമുല 1 പിന്നെ ബൈക്കിൻ്റെ റേസുകളും ഒക്കെ നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പം മാത്രമേ പബ്ലിക്കിന് ഓപ്പൺ ആക്കിയിട്ടുള്ളൂ. വളരെ ലിമിറ്റഡ് സമയത്തിന് മാത്രമുള്ളേ. അവിടെ നിന്ന് 2 വണ്ടികൾ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇത് ആൾക്കാർ ഓടിക്കണമാണോ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യണമാണോ എന്നറിയില്ല കേട്ടോ. ഇതുണ്ടോ, ഇവിടെ ട്രെയിനിങ് കൊടുക്കണമായിരിക്കും. ട്രെയിനിങ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ളവർക്ക്. ഇവിടെ പോയി ചെക്ക് ഇൻ ചെയ്യണം കേട്ടോ. ചെക്ക് ഇൻ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞെങ്കിലാണ് പിന്നെ അതിൻ്റെ ആൾ വന്ന് ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ തരും. 1 hour ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. ഇതാട്ടോ ശരിക്കുള്ള ട്രാക്ക്. ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ളവരാണ് ആ ഹെൽമെറ്റ് വെച്ചേക്കണത് താഴെ. ഇതേ പോണോ, ടി വി കാണുമ്പോൾ തന്നെയാണ് എവിടെ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോഴും അല്ലേ. ഇവിടെ പോർഷെ, ഓസ്റ്റിൻ മാർട്ടിൻ, പിന്നെ വേറെ ഏതാ ഓരെണ്ണോടെയും കാണിക്കുമല്ലോ, ഓരെണ്ണം ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യാലോ. മക്ലാറിനാണോ? മൂന്നെണ്ണമാണ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു ട്രെയിനറുണ്ട്. ട്രെയിനർ ആദ്യത്തെ ലാപ്പ് കൊണ്ടുപോയി കാണിച്ചു തരും. എന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്ത് പോകുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴും ട്രെയിനർ തൊട്ടപ്പുറം ഇരിക്കും. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു വണ്ടിക്ക് 3 ലാപ്പ് വെച്ച് 9 ലാപ്പാണ് ഫുള്ള് ഇവർ അലവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതിനാണ് ഈ 400 പൗണ്ട് പേ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. കണ്ടോ, ഇപ്പോൾ വണ്ടിയോട് പോകണമുണ്ടോ? അതുപോലെ നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. പിന്നെ ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കാറിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ തന്നെ വീഡിയോ എല്ലാം റെക്കോർഡറാണ്. ഫുള്ള് സംസാരം എല്ലാം റെക്കോർഡറാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമ്മൾ വീഡിയോ ഒന്നും അകത്തെടുക്കണ്ട. പിന്നെ ഇവിടുത്തെ ട്രെയിനർ ഇരിക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ റീസൺ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇൻഷുറൻസ് പർപ്പസിന് വേണ്ടിയാണ്. ഇൻഷുർഡാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇന്ത്യത്തെ. വണ്ടികൾ പോകണമുണ്ടോ? ടൈമായിട്ടോ. അന്നേരം പുള്ളി ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ടർ വന്നു. ഒരു ബ്രീഫിങ്ങിന് കൊണ്ടുപോകും. ഇവിടെ ആദ്യം ഡ്രൈവ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് ഒരു ബ്രീഫിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്. ആ ബ്രീഫിങ്ങിനാണ് ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നത്.
them all. They are going to react slightly differently. They're going to feel slightly differently in the way they drive. Okay, so it's a good experience. You're probably the only people that can sit in a McLaren, then sit in an Aston, and then also sit in a Ferrari and get to grips with all three cars. Before we start, we'll go through the circuit first of all. So you're actually going to be driving on the international circuit, which is effectively the southern part of the Grand Prix track. Okay, so it's the lower part of the Grand Prix track. As you can see from the diagram here, we've got a couple of long, fast straights. The famous Hangar Straight is in there as well. And we've got a couple of tight corners. So Vale and Village are fairly tight corners, slow corners. Surprisingly, guess which ones the people fall off on? It's the slow corners. Okay, Silverstone is very wide. The track is very wide. Imagine a motorway without the white lines painted on it. It's that wide. Wide as a motorway. You don't realise the speed you're going until the instructor is shouting louder at you to brake harder and harder and harder. Okay. If you get a chance, have a bit of a reality check when you're going around. Have a little look at the speedo every now and again. You'll realise the speed you're going, and you realise you've got to brake quite hard. We're above motorway speeds around the whole circuit. Okay, we're above motorway speed, so every time you brake out, you've got to brake quite firm and slow the car down quite quickly. Let's throw a few figures at it. For instance, if you're coming out Stowe into Vale, in the Aston, for instance, you're probably touching just under 100 miles an hour. That's a 20 mile an hour corner. You've got to shed off 80 miles an hour, the length of this room. This is braking now. Okay, so you've got to be quite firm on the brakes. Same again, come through farm curve. If you're in the McLaren, you're probably touching 110 miles an hour, 25 mile an hour corner. Got to shed off a lot of speed quite quickly. So don't be shy on the brake pedal. We get you to brake quite firmly. 100 miles an hour is going to feel like 60. 70 miles an hour feels like you're doing 30. So, you know, you don't get any sensation of speed. There's no lamppost rushing past you. You don't realise the speed you're going because it's so wide and open. So just bear that in mind when you're driving around. We're here at the moment in the F1 pits. Shortly I'm going to take you downstairs, introduce you to your instructor, and we'll get you out in the cars. The circuit goes in this direction, Abbey, Farm Curve, Village, and then down the Hangar Straight through Vale and Club. Now, what we don't do on this circuit is we don't put cones out to mark the braking areas, the turning points, etc. We don't mark them out. We tend to use the general furniture that's out there. So the instructor will drive you around first to show you around. When they drive you around, they're going to pick out points on the track. There might be a white line painted across the ground. It might be a sign on the side of the road as a reference point. It might be the end of the barriers. They're going to pick these points out for you to look at and focus on. What you can log in your mind now is all your turning in points around here. It's quite easy. All your turning in points are basically going to be at the end of the stripy curbs. So you brake along the stripy curb, end of the curb, turn in. Next corner, brake along the curb, get to the end of the curb, turn in. Next corner, brake along the curb, end of the curb, turn in. So you now can log that in your head that the turning in points are at the end of those stripy curbs. So get to the end and then turn in. It's quite common that most people want to try and rush into the corner and turn in early and rush into the corner, and it's going to ruin your speed on the exit. Okay, that's the circuit for you. Let's come back to the cars in. So 3 super cars for you to drive. They're all over 500 horsepower. Let's start with the sort of the lowest one, the Aston Martin, about 520 horsepower. It's rear wheel drive. The engine's in the front. You've got actually the Mercedes 63 engine in that, and it's got 2 turbos in it. When the turbos come in, they come in with a hell of a punch. So you don't want the turbos punching in at the beginning of your corner. You want to try and plan it so the turbos punch in towards the exit of the turn. Okay, that's going to be a key thing there. She is quite a heavy car, just under 2 tons in weight. So again, just put that in the logbook in your brain. Just under 2 tons in weight. It takes a little bit of stopping. It's quite soft on the suspension. Not really designed for circuit use. It's designed to cruise around Europe. Put your golf clubs in the back, but it's a fast car. So it's quite soft on the suspension. It's a bit sort of wallowy. So when you turn into the corner in that, as you turn into the corner, you can't go straight on the throttle. You've got to wait for the car to sort of settle down. It's settled down on the suspension, and then you can start to squeeze the power on through the corner. Then we move to the McLaren now. So we're up to over 600 horsepower, about 610 horsepower with this one. Car that's built for the job. Okay, it's built for the circuit. It's carbon, very lightweight. It's a mid-engine car, so the engine is right behind your seat. So bang in the middle of the car. A very well balanced car, and it grips well in the corners. So your cornering speed is obviously going to be more than the Aston. The straight line speed will be slightly more as well, but it's a car built for the job. Then we come to, we need actually a new picture here. We haven't got the 430s anymore, we've got the 488. So the Ferrari 488, we've had them about 3 weeks. It's a very quick car. It's the first Ferrari engine V8 that they bolted a turbo to. So it's got 661 horsepower. It's got 700 Newton meters of torque. It's got a punch. It's got a real big punch on it. It's a lighter car than the Aston. Sits low to the ground. The engine is behind you. It's a rear engine car. It's behind you. It makes all the proper Ferrari noises, so it makes all the right noises, but it's very fast. Top speeds, you'll probably be touching around about 145, 150 miles an hour down straight there. It's quick. It's got that punch, so beware of that when you get in there. As I mentioned, the instructor, in this experience, the instructor is going to move through the cars with you. So you're going to have one instructor who's going to sit with you all the way through. While you're waiting for your next car, there's a 8 or 10 minute break or so, the instructor can sit at a table with you, and we've got these books where they're going to go through and try and fine-tune your lines and try and fine-tune your driving and prepare you ready for the next car. So any mistakes you make out there, anything they need to point out to you, they can draw it on here, and that's a book for you to keep at the end. So it's like a one-to-one tuition. All 3 cars, treat them as automatics. Okay, so you don't use your left leg. Left leg is tucked out of the way. There is a footrest for your left leg in most of the cars, so use that to wedge yourself in the seat. Okay, hold yourself in. You're going to brake and accelerate with your right foot as you normally would do. Go to your normal leg length, and then we almost ask you to try 1 notch closer to the brake pedal than you normally sit, purely because every time you touch that brake, you've got to push it hard, got to get the brakes on quite quickly and quite firm. So go to your normal leg length, try 1 notch closer, just to get a good feel for the brakes. Hand position on the steering wheel. Most steering wheel now, modern steering wheels, they've got the fat bit at the top there where you grip. They want you to grip the fat bit, so 2:45. Try half a turn on the steering, and you will need that much steering, and back the other way. So when you get in the seat, try that. If you're stretched, you'll find that when you do this arm locks out because you're too far away, and you can't turn any more of that because it's locked. If you're too close, you're going to hit your body. So you want to be a good, comfortable position where you can get a nice fluid motion on the steering wheel, nice and relaxed. Also, people do get excited when they drive out there. They clamp onto the steering wheel really tight. If you clamp on, every movement you make is going to be sharp and pointy and aggressive. We need a nice relaxed feel to the car. You should technically be able to just hold the steering wheel with 2 fingers either side, nice and light. They've all got power steering. Doesn't matter how hard you hold the wheel, it's not going to affect what the car does. So nice and light on the steering, got a much better feel from the front end.
We're not using paddle shifts.
We have got paddle shifts in the cars, yeah. The Aston and the Ferrari, the paddle shifts are fixed. So the paddle shifts are behind the steering wheel. Has everyone used paddles before? Yeah? Happy with paddles? Okay, so if I turn around, so the right hand paddle, you flick it towards you, goes up through the gearbox. You can keep your foot on the throttle. And then the left hand paddle, flick that towards you, it'll take you down the gearbox. They've got a plus and minus on them. We only change down gear once you're on the brakes. You've got to get on the brakes first. That way you've got control of the car, and then you can come down through the gearbox. If the instructor asks you to go down 2 or 3 gears, please don't treat it like a PlayStation. You can't go down 15 gears in 2 seconds. Go down 1 gear, wait for it to engage, down a gear, wait for it to engage. You have got plenty of time to go down 3 gears. Yes, yeah, it's a particularly on the more powerful cars, it's an easier option. The paddles in the McLaren are not fixed; they move with the steering wheel. So the paddles should be on your fingertips at every point through the corners. Okay, with the McLaren. Gear-wise, lowest gear out there in all the cars is going to be 3rd. We never go lower than 3rd, and then up to 6th gear, and then possibly 7th gear in the Ferrari. Okay, so that's a gear range for you as you go drive round. The instructors will take the central mirror. They'll look after the traffic behind you, so when you're driving, you won't need to worry about anything behind you. If there's anything coming along, they'll probably say to you, just move over to the right, we'll let the car through, or move to the left, we'll let another car through. But let them worry about everything behind you. Your focus is up ahead. And again, because the track is so fat and wide, vision is really important. Got to be looking ahead. 5 cars down the road, like you would on a motorway, not the immediate car there. Look down the road. The corners come up quite quickly. If you're looking at the bonnet, at the end of the bonnet, suddenly the corners prop up and it surprises you and you don't know where to turn the car, what to do. If you're looking ahead and you're planning ahead, so as you're coming around here, you should be already thinking, planning about the next corner. When you come around here, you're planning the next corner, and you're always 1 corner ahead of the car. Particularly when you get in the McLaren and the Ferrari, you've got to really look ahead. Those corners come up really fast, okay? So you've got to be ahead of the car so you know what to do, because you've got to tell the car what to do. Right, I'm going to show you a short video on the circuit. As you watch the video, watch where the turning in points are, end of those stripy curbs. Watch how light the guy's holding the wheel. He's not holding it really tight, nice and light, and how smooth he is with the steering, not sharp and aggressive. Okay, let's get that on for you.
Welcome to Silverstone, the home of the British Grand Prix. My name's Steve Deeks, one of the senior instructors here at the circuit, and it's going to be my pleasure to take you on a virtual lap of this historic Grand Prix venue. But first, let's focus on the single most important factor in all of this, the racing line through the corner. You're going to hear this term time and time again. The braking point, the point at which we start braking for the corner. The turning in point, the point at which we turn the car into the corner. The clipping point, the point at which we pass closest to the inside curbing, and of course that all-important exit point, the point at which we start to leave the corner. So, the first corner we'll come to as we exit the Stowe pit lane is Vale. And it's here we'll see Formula 1 cars with their carbon brake discs glowing red as they shed fully 100 miles an hour. But our challenge is to get the car slowed down sufficiently. We turn in deep and late here, and we're looking to hold the car on the left-hand side of the track in order to facilitate a really fast exit from the corner. And now from the hot seat, braking hard, firm braking, wait for it, and turn. Balance the car, pick up the clipping point, and then look through the next corner. And ideally, you should end up in the middle of the track. No sooner have you exited Vale, and if you get it right, then you find yourself here in the centre of the track on the approach to this tricky double apex right-hander known as a club. Named after the RAC club in Pall Mall, this corner requires throttle control and balance. Wheel hard over, balance throttle, and as you're coming out using every bit of the track, and then looking well ahead for that inside clipping point, and remember, it's a tricky exit. So let's take a look at the racing line using our virtual eye in the sky as the TV helicopter crews see it. So we've come powering down the new Formula One start-finish straight, and we've arrived here at Abbey, one of the classic corners in Formula One, taken nearly flat out in qualifying and named after the 15th century priory of Luffield Abbey. But our job today, to get the car well balanced, to look as far ahead as we possibly can, and to carry speed through the corner. Early and gentle brake, back on the throttle, and a very smooth turn in, carrying speed through this ultra fast corner. Let's climb back up to 1,000 feet. Now you can really see the fast flowing racing line take shape. Now this is where Silverstone South Circuit gets complex. We came powering out of the Farm King, we've arrived here at this three-corner section. We go Village into Beckett, and then finally into Chapel and out to the Hanger Straight. And the key here is to brake and turn in very late for Village, and make sure that we get the complex right. Get this section wrong, and we'll scrap the whole lap time. Ultra hard braking here, late turn in, and really pull the car across for that inside clipping point, but don't let the car run wider than halfway across the track. Back over to the left, clipping point, and the run down the hill for the all-important right-hander that is Beckett's, leading out after the clipping point, of course, onto the classic Hanger Straight. We rejoin our aviators to recap on this tricky but all-important complex. Now you can really see the fast-flowing racing line take shape. So we've come powering down the legendary Hanger Straight. F1 cars touch 200 miles an hour here, and that leads us into the last corner on our lap, the classic Stowe corner. And the difficulty here is turning in late enough to pick up the line. Braking in a straight line across the road, and wait for it, a late turn in, and a very late clipping point here. Once again, looking well ahead, unwinding the steering lock and squeezing the power on using the full and entire width of the track. So let's take a look at the racing line using our virtual eye in the sky, back on board with the TV crew. So now let's look and see how this all seams together on a full lap. We struck corner in three segments. We have the braking area, we have the mid-corner, and we have the exit. And we're going to look at how we put them all together to create the perfect lap time. So let's demonstrate this at Abbey. Braking first, firmly, and gear changing. Second section, the mid-corner, picking up the clipping point, and finally the exit where we unwind the steering lock and we let the car use the full width of the track. So now we've sorted braking, let's concentrate on mid-corner and exit. Here we turn in late and pick up the inside clipping point, but careful not to let the car use too much track, because we immediately switch back for the left-hander, holding the car into the left, hard on the brakes before turning in to pick up the clipping point for Beckett's, and then it's out onto the Hanger Straight, unwinding the steering lock and accelerating all the way. Remember, as race drivers, what we're trying to achieve is a high exit speed from the corner, because we'll carry that advantage all the way down the straight. Finally, let's bolt it all together for that one perfect cornering experience. Braking firmly, a late turn in, looking through the corner, pulling the car to the inside for the clipping